Welcome to another episode on our channel. One subscriber asked, how did we achieve the look with the two props for the Death Keeper that we showed you the other day? So I'm going to walk you through the process. I've already pre-painted the bendy hands white and the little skull white and obviously the big skull white. Basically, everything here, we start off in white. I just shook it up really good and got some paint in here in the cap area. And then I put a few drops of water into it because I want to just stir up what's in the cap. And hopefully it's the right consistency. And it looks like it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of just give it the skull an overhaul. My hands are going to get messy with this stuff. All right, so I've coated it in this really liquidy black paint. Started off as bone white. This is a very damp paper towel. And I'm just going to kind of dab, 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 dab. I can't help but think it needs a little more darkness. So let me kind of reach in this time and just, yeah, now it went on a lot thicker. But this may work out better. There we go. Overall, I'm happy with that look. Let's see what I can do with the hands. I'm going to keep it at the strength I had on the last third try with the skull. And I'm just going to dab it away here and there. Not all of it, just enough. You see? We are back, and I think the skulls look the way I want them to at this point in time. If you want it darker, you can make it darker, dab a little bit off, a little less off, that sort of thing. But I think I have them where I want them now. The hands are looking pretty gruesome. And with the brown paint that I allowed to dry a little bit, I then took this paper towel and kind of just lightly brushed it down. So it's not completely painted in brown, but there are just touches here and there. So now what I want to do here is I want to do the wash to this thing. So I'm just going to go for it. With the thickness that I used on the skulls. And then when I think I've got the coverage I want, I'm just going to take this damp cloth and go at it again. Yep. Yep. And, you know, if you're not happy with something, like you want more white in it, just bring another paintbrush out and put a little more white on it and, you know, dab away what you don't want of the white. But I think I have it where I want it. Yeah, I think it's good. So we're just going to do something different this time around. Instead of staining this, just try to match it with this, just for kicks and grins. So this is obsidian, metallic. And this should go on pretty easy. Oh, you get the idea. We'll pause now. I'll finish this up and then we'll let it dry. And then we will drill a hole into the skull and we'll get this together, this part together. So we'll be right back. We are back, and one of the first props we made for the Death Keeper was the axe with the skull on it. And how that was kept together was my husband drilled a hole into the top part of the axe and a hole into the bottom part of the skull. He cut a nail into a short piece that then fit, the point of the nail fit into the top of the axe head. And the other part, it was short enough where the skull met the axe head. And then we kind of just used hot glue to make that stick together at the top. So the nail just tightly fit into here, and the hot glue held it at the top. But using the nail gave it some ability to rotate, and the hot glue is flexible, so we could even angle the head a little bit here and there. So a little articulation. But since the drill bit has died, has been broken, has bit the dust, we can't, gave up the ghost. We can't show you this part. So sorry. But I think you get it, right? All right. The staff drilled a hole in the bottom of the skull, kind of shaped the top part of the wood to fit in nicely, so it hangs on there very nicely. Now, the only other thing we need to do is to create shackles for the hands that will hang from about here. And what I would do is either use needle nose pliers that have the ability to cut some things off, or a flush cutter, so it gets a nice tight flush cut. And I would just cut it as flush to the hand as possible. That's going to work out well. And this one as well. I don't want it jumping all around the place. Doesn't seem to be doing that. Good. So now we have our two hands. Ooh, I might have to, no, I think it looks gory that way. A little more weight in the bottom. Yeah, a little whiteness showing through that. Really gory. To try to make the shackles, what I did is I took some leather and basically just tried to make a tight fit around the wrist, what was left of the wrist, and then super glue that into place. So we're going to pause. I'm going to cut these pieces, and then I'm going to super glue them into place. So while you guys were gone, I super glued leather wrist cuffs so that the seam would be underneath the hand. But I've got two brown ones here. I have a little chain. It's not as, I guess, as wide as I would like it to be, but it'll have to do. So the super glue is holding the chain, one link to one hand, one link to the other. I put some heavy thread through one of the links because I want to tie a slip knot and get it affixed to the top part of the staff. Armor on the Death Keeper is basically gold and black. So bronze is maybe, I don't know. It might be a nice contrast though. So we have the staff. You've seen the process in terms of washing the hands, painting it first in white, washing it with liquidy black paint, dabbing off of it what you don't want. We did the same with the skull. We painted the staff itself metallic obsidian to match this axe head and the pommel. All right. With the axe head and pommel, we painted this white at first and put some streaks of brown in it, and then did a black wash on this one as well and dabbed off what we didn't want. The only thing we couldn't show you was drilling a hole into the top of the axe, drilling a hole into the bottom of the skull, cutting this nail so that it would fit into the top of the axe and be short enough so that this would rest on top of it. And that would be basically our axe with a skull attached to it. That could move a little bit because of the nail and the hot glue at the top with the skull meeting the nail at the top there. So a little flexibility, it can even move side to side. So there are our two basically props that we used for the Death Keeper. Now, as I'm looking at the bronze, I'm not liking the bronze. I would definitely paint it with the obsidian so that it matches more of the axe head here. We are back, and I kind of want to do a skit, you know, like, how you doing? My hands are too low. Anyway, we can't, of course, show you this thing completely because the drill bit the dust. So, but this would be connected, and it's awesome when it is. And when somebody who's creepy looking is holding both of these things, one in each hand, it looks awesome. So I hope you liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.